Have you ever pondered on the origins of the everyday crayon, an essential part of every child's craft collection? Our journey begins in the early 20th century in the United States. The art supplies marketplace was a battlefield for supremacy, with numerous competitors. But in 1903, a victor emerged, Crayola, a name synonymous with crayons. The credit for its establishment goes to Mrs. Alice Binney, wife of a company pioneer. To fathom Crayola's success, let's consider some numbers. Crayola churns out a whopping 3 billion crayons a year. Broken down, that's about 8 million daily. Imagine these crayons arranged end to end, looping the earth six times. In 120 years, the industry has seen significant advances. In the 1900s, a palette of colors was limited to just 8. Imagine trying to capture a sunset's glow or the night sky's majesty with only 8 colors. Now the number of crayon colors has skyrocketed from 8 to a staggering 120. From ocean blues to volcano reds, every shade of our vibrant world can now be captured with a crayon. But how exactly are they made? Well, stay tuned as we uncover the captivating procedure behind the creation of these vibrant wands of wonder. The primary material used in making crayons is paraffin, a waxy substance derived from wood, coal, or petroleum. So why paraffin? Well, imagine trying to color with a brick. Not the most effective method, right? That's because bricks, unlike paraffin, don't have what we call a nice rub-off. This means that when you draw with a crayon, the paraffin leaves just enough wax on the paper to create smooth, vibrant lines. But it's not just about the rub-off. Paraffin is the superstar of crayon production for a couple more reasons. First, it's compatible with a myriad of pigments. This is why we can have crayons in all shades of the rainbow and then some. From cerulean blue to razzmatazz pink, paraffin can handle it all. Secondly, paraffin is non-toxic and safe for use. This is especially important considering that crayons often find their way into the mouths of our little artists. With paraffin, parents can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that their children's health isn't at risk during their creative endeavors. Now, you're probably wondering how this magical material makes its way to the crayon factory. Paraffin is delivered in liquid form. You see, it becomes liquid at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit, or 57 degrees Celsius. So, the delivery trucks have to maintain a warm enough temperature to keep the paraffin from hardening before it reaches its destination. Once it arrives at the factory, the paraffin is ready to be transformed into the colorful crayons that we all know and love. But it can't do it alone. It needs a partner in crime to bring out its full potential. The next crucial material in crayon production, the pigments that give the crayons their dazzling color. But we'll dive into that in the next scene. Stay tuned to find out how those pigments are mixed with the paraffin to create the vibrant crayons that inspire so many masterpieces. Because paraffin won't mix with water, the pigments used in crayons are in powdered form. You might be wondering, where do these pigments come from? Well, let me paint you a picture. Creating these pigments is a process that starts with mixing a cocktail of chemicals in wooden tanks. These chemicals are carefully selected and combined, following a formula that's been perfected over the years by the crayon manufacturer. The result is a slurry of individual pigments, each contributing to the dazzling array of colors that will eventually make up our crayons. Once the pigments are mixed, they're forced through filters to remove excess water. What's left are chunks of individual pigments, each a tiny nugget of color waiting to be unleashed. But we're not done yet. These chunks are then kiln-dried for several days. This process removes any remaining moisture, ensuring that the pigments are ready for the next step. After drying, the chunks of pigment are mixed according to the formula for the desired color. This is where the magic really happens. Imagine a symphony of color, where each pigment plays its part in creating a harmony of hues. The pigments are then pulverized into a fine powder, ensuring a smooth, even blend for color consistency. Once the pigments have been blended to perfection, they're sent off to the crayon factory. Here, they'll be combined with the paraffin wax we talked about earlier, bringing us one step closer to the finished product. But the world of crayons isn't just about color. In the past decade, crayons have gotten a bit of a sparkle and smell upgrade. How so? Let's find out. Additional ingredients like glitter and scents have been added to crayons in recent years. This has not only enhanced the visual appeal of the crayons, but has also added a sensory dimension, creating a more immersive drawing experience. Let's delve into the fascinating world of glitter and fragrance in crayon making. Glitter, those tiny reflective particles that add a magical sparkle to the crayons, is added to the crayon mix during production. These small flecks of light-catching material are mixed into the paraffin and pigment blend, giving the resulting crayon a delightful shimmer. As the crayon moves across the paper, the glitter catches the light and reflects it, creating a sparkling effect that can make any drawing come alive. The addition of glitter has certainly elevated the humble crayon, transforming it into a tool capable of creating art with a dazzling touch. But the magic doesn't stop with glitter. In recent years, scents have also been incorporated into crayons, introducing a whole new sensory element to the art of drawing. These fragrances are carefully chosen and added to the crayon mix during production. Imagine the delight of a child drawing a bunch of grapes with a purple crayon that smells just like fresh grapes, or a pine tree that exudes the refreshing scent of pine as it's being drawn. The incorporation of scents has taken the sensory experience of drawing with crayons to a whole new level, engaging not just the sense of sight but also the sense of smell. These additions of glitter and scents have truly revolutionized the crayon making process. They have transformed an ordinary tool into a sensory delight, adding an extra layer of joy and creativity to the art of drawing. So the next time you pick up a glittery scented crayon, take a moment to appreciate the innovation and craftsmanship that has gone into its creation. Now that we have all our ingredients, let's move on to the actual production process. The production of crayons begins with heating paraffin in large industrial boilers until it turns into a liquid. This critical step in the crayon making process happens under precise temperature control, hovering around 180 degrees Fahrenheit. The heating time, too, is meticulously monitored to ensure the safety and quality of the process. Once the paraffin reaches its liquid state, it is transferred into mammoth silos, each with the capacity to hold up to 17,000 gallons. That's more than the maximum takeoff weight of the Sikorsky King Stallion, one of the most massive helicopters in the world. If that sounds like an astronomical amount of wax, bear in mind that a typical crayon factory can consume this much paraffin in just a single day. Because paraffin is a flammable material, the storage and transfer of this waxy substance are carried out with a high degree of caution. Workers involved in handling paraffin are always equipped with safety gear, including breathing masks to prevent the inhalation of fine particles. Next, the liquid paraffin is moved from the storage towers to mixing kettles, where it meets its partner in crayon creation, clay. The addition of clay to the mix is not just for giving the crayons their much-needed strength. It also acts as a filler, effectively boosting the number of crayons that can be produced from each batch of wax. This not only increases production efficiency, but also makes the process more cost-effective. From there, the paraffin clay mixture is poured into molds, each shaped like the familiar cylindrical form of a crayon. Once cooled and solidified, these crayon blanks are then sent off for labeling and packaging, ready to bring joy and color to the world. And that, my friends, is how a simple stick of colored wax takes form. Next time you pick up a crayon, remember the fascinating process behind its creation.